Hey everyone, it's Jack here, Norwich City. Welcome back to another video. I'm sat here once again in the car. I've been making a bit of a habit of this recently. I hope you're all well. It is a really gloomy week here in Norfolk at the moment, and hopefully things brighten up soon. It was all so jolly, wasn't it, last Saturday against Watford, and I've still got a real smile on my face after that. It felt like it was the product of something that had been being nurtured and marinated under the Johannes Hoff Thorup era for quite some time, and we hadn't quite seen that click into action yet. I've thought so far, as I've said multiple times, barring that performance against Oxford on opening day, and there was a whole host of reasons why that went so poorly, but since that point, Norwich have been entertaining, and Norwich have been cohesive, and Norwich City have been moving towards, I think, a path that most fans, and I say most fans because not all fans, but most fans are wanting to see, and that's really pleasing. And the most pleasing thing for me is that things continue to look like they're moving in the right direction, and there's patterns of play developing, and players are starting to find their roles within this side. And at this stage, I don't think you can ask for too much more, but at some stage, as I've said, those performances have to turn into results, because despite the expectation and some of the things that will be said, I suspect within the club they will be hoping that they can at least challenge for the playoffs. And you need to keep pace at these early stages, because there will come really difficult runs where we've got a couple of away games in a week and tough fixtures and players out injured and suspended, where you are naturally going to drop off, and that period hasn't come yet, but that will come, and we need to be prepared for that. But that means that at this stage it's really important that we're keeping pace with our rivals, and I think to an extent we are. It was brilliant to speak to Jose Cordoba in the week, and if you haven't already watched that, I'd really love you to. Jose's a really charming chap, incredibly intelligent, speaks 5 different languages. He's 23 years old. He moved from Panama when he was 17. I mean, this man has lived a life already, and he's still so young. But you could sense a real excitement from Jose. And this is a man that had other offers on the table. He had offers in Italy. He had offers from Rangers, and he chose Norwich City because he believed that he could get promoted with Norwich City. His dream is to play Premier League football, and his dream is to play Premier League football with Norwich City. He wouldn't have come here, I can assure you, if he didn't think that was a genuine possibility. And look, he admitted that there's lots to do and there's lots to sort, but you could sense from him, and you could sense from the squad on Saturday, that they feel happy where they're at and they feel like they're moving forwards. The other fascinating thing that I took from that, and it was tied into Johannes Hoff Thorup's post-match interview on Saturday after that Watford game. We've just won 4-1, arguably the best performance from a Norwich City team in a very long while. Johannes is going, there's more to come. I'm disappointed with the goal we conceded. I'd like to do more. And I was like, wow, this guy is a perfectionist. And I got that from Jose as well. We were bigging him up and we loved his performance. He won the man of the match against Watford. And he was like, yeah, that was about 80%. There's so much more to come from me. And I'm like, mate, just take the compliment. But he's not like that. He wants to do more. He wants to kick on, and he wants to kick on with his teammates. And that's really pleasing. And there was so much good stuff from Saturday. I genuinely walked away from Carrow Road going, oh, that was seriously enjoyable. There was a good mood around the place. The sun was shining. We'd scored 4 goals. And that was the other thing, is you sense an excitement in the fan base, and that will do so much for this side. So often last season under David Wagner and under Dean Smith, you'd win a football match and it was still like, because you kind of knew the outcome eventually, and the outcome was probably disappointment, and there wasn't necessarily a philosophy. And I know that's used a lot in modern football, but I think it does mean a lot. To support a football club, especially a football club like Norwich City, where you haven't got the most money in the world and you're not going to be competing year in, year out in the Premier League. You need some substance. You need something to hold on to aside from the football on the pitch, and it feels like we've got that. We've got a manager that clearly loves the football club. We've got players that are young and hungry and wanting to fight. We've got youth talent in Kellen Fisher on the pitch who has just signed a new contract this week, and I thought he was marvellous on Saturday. Really, really good. And all of those little bits also play into the fact that I think Johannes is starting to figure out his strongest starting 11. It's Angus in goal. It's probably Kellen Fisher at right back after Saturday's performance. It's a centre-back pairing of Jose Cordoba and Shane Duffy. You've got Callum Doyle in there, who was progressing so far up the pitch, but it worked. Marcelino Nunes and Kenny McLean. Incredibly, Jose Cordoba said two of the most technically gifted players at Norwich City, which I was surprised about. But, you know, if he rates them highly, then so should we. You've got Ante Cianats, who's starting to get into a rhythm, and I loved the kind of link-up play that he managed to get into. I still don't think he's a winger, and I think his future lies away from there, and I think he's, to be honest, an out-and-out number 9. But you're not going to dispossess Josh Sargent from that role at the moment. Not the Top 20 did a brilliant feature on their show this week, a brilliant podcast that I thoroughly recommend listening to, far more intelligent than I am. And they said that the joy of Ante Cianats so far this season has been because he's physical, because he's tall, because he can win aerial duels. Actually, there's so much work that we maybe don't see from trying to get forwards from you know, when you're trying to relieve pressure, you can ping it into him. He'll win the header, or he'll bring it down and move it on. It's work that Ante Cianats maybe we're not seeing, that actually is really valuable at the moment. You've got Josh Sargent, who you know all about, bought science with a fantastic goal at the weekend, and suddenly I've reeled through that 11, and you're going, oof, okay, there's talent in there, and there's cohesion, and there's balance. Balance, that's the key word. There, it feels like there is balance. And look, we will lose more games this season, and there will be performances that we go, oh my goodness, because they're still trying to learn a system, and they're still trying to get used to this way of playing, which is incredibly different to David Wagner and Dean Smith. And you know, there's still players in this side that have played under both of them. But I feel good about it, and we head to Derby on Saturday, another early kickoff, against Paul Warren's Derby, who have had a pretty good start to the season, considering they were only promoted, fresh into the league this time round. We haven't played them, actually. I was reading since Kieran Dowell scored that free kick in the promotion season behind closed doors. They were different times, weren't they? But we should go there and we should try and play our game. And I was saying to all of my friends at Carrow Road on Saturday, I can't figure out, and I'd love you to comment, I can't figure out why Norwich are so much better at home than they are away from home. Away from home, even this season, we kind of look a shell of ourselves, and maybe that's a confidence thing, maybe that's we're trying to play a slightly different game. I would love to see us go to Derby and whoever's up next away from home and just play our game and see what happens. We created chances against Swansea, but we lost the game. But even then, it felt like we were slightly contained in what we were trying to do. Let's go there. Let's play our stuff. I'm hoping for almost an unchanged 11. There shouldn't be too many injury doubts. On Hernandez is out injured, which is a real shame because Johannes clearly likes him and he'd actually started the season really well in his kind of cameo appearances. So that's a shame. But other than that, we should be fairly good to go. So unchanged 11. Let's go to Derby. Let's play our game and let's see what we can do this season. You haven't got an Ipswich, a Southampton, a Leicester this season who are just going to be a level above. Maybe West Brom, maybe Leeds, but we're well within touching distance of these types of teams. And then the pack below that, which I think we sit in, which is the playoff contenders. Why not? I think we're good enough. I think we've got talent in this side. We've taken to this style far quicker than I expected. And I'm really excited. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. It's Derby at the weekend. I'm actually off to America tomorrow, so I'm missing the next few games, which is a real shame. There'll still be loads of coverage here on TNT with myself and Chris, and really looking forward to seeing what we can do. Norwich City are starting to click. You better believe it. See you later, everyone. Bye bye.